Hello, this is Dr. Farina King, and I'm a now associate professor of history at Northeastern State University and an affiliate of Cherokee and Indigenous Studies. And I also am a part of a collective focused on NSU community health and well-being. And this is our podcast series. Today we have our guest who is a student, Gabrielle Budder. She is a senior double majoring in English and Media Studies with a minor in Cherokee Studies. And Gabrielle is a part of a group who are organizing a big event on Monday, April 26, 2021, about the DeStress Fest is what it's called. And it will be held in the NSU tailgating area from 3 p.m. to 6 p.m. And that is right by the Doc Wadley Stadium where the football games are held. And so, Gabrielle, thank you for joining us. And on this day, it's Friday, April 23rd, 2021. And Gabrielle, could you tell us a little bit more about yourself, how you came to NSU, for example?
Yes, absolutely. So I originally came to NSU to become a teacher, but then plans changed. I realized I really had a passion for hearing people's stories, and I wanted to be able to hear more of them, and I wanted to engage more with that. So then I changed to media studies to either become a PR person or a journalist. And then I came here 4 years ago. I'm about to graduate now. So this is actually our capstone course where we have to make an event. And so we were talking with everyone in our group, and we decided that we needed a time to just let everything out from this past year that we've been having and just help people distress.
That is so awesome. And when I heard about the event, you have a Facebook event page for it. The news is starting to spread about it. I said, I really have to talk to you because, this is a part of that effort of really thinking about our community health and wellness, the kind of concerns we have, especially for students and all people who have high anxiety and concerns that have been intensified by the COVID-19 pandemic, and to also hear your perspective as a student. And that's congratulations to you with your upcoming graduation, as you mentioned in a previous conversation with me, will be this summer, right?
Yes.
Oh, wonderful. So tell us a little bit more about what inspired this event. You started to mention that, but it's a part of your media studies coursework, but does it mean more to you than that? Or what do you hope is gained from this event and the ideas behind it, basically?
Yes. So I am part of a group that consists of 6 students, and we were split into 3 different events for the course over the entire media studies capstone. And so we got together and we started hashing out ideas on what we wanted to do. And there was a bunch of kind of just like random things. At first, we wanted a blossom festival to celebrate the coming of spring. And then we were just throwing out so many different ideas. But then it took 2 days for us to figure out what our event was going to be about. And we realized we were all really stressed about this event. And then we had gotten into a conversation about how this year is going to be a struggle for us, but we're kind of proud of everybody for being here. And so then it just realized, it hit us suddenly. We should make a DeStress festival. We need to help people come down, especially before finals, because we wanted to celebrate this entire semester, despite having gone through a pandemic, that we're pushing forward. And since we're all graduating seniors in this course, it's really just a big explosion of how we really feel and how we want to be able to relax and just realize that it's completely done and help other students feel that way as well.
Oh, yeah. I think that's so great, and how y'all came to that that consensus about it, that feeling of how needed it is. Can you tell me more about the event itself, the preparations, what you all have put into this, and the hopes you have for it?
Yes. So it is an entire semester for us to prepare this event. And so there are different areas which the course takes us through. One is research. And so whenever we got into the research portion, it just really honed in how important this event actually is, especially for college students, for Oklahoman students, and for our populace here at NSU. It just became so vibrant that we need this, especially after the pandemic. We don't have any research tools to kind of show how stressed people truly are right now. But just knowing that those are the results of like 2 years ago, imagine how much more it is right now. And so that was the research portion of it, and it really solidified our resolve to get everything done. And then because there are 6 of us, we split apart and we all had different things to go and do. A lot of us started making posters. We did a lot of advocating for financing. We had to finance all of these things ourselves. And so we got underwriters. And then, so primarily, I was the finance person. I went out and talked to businesses downtown, but I started realizing a lot of businesses are also having a hard time. And so instead of asking them for money, I instead asked for donations. So you're going to see a lot of free swag, people just donating the services that they had extra, which is another really fun part of the event. The community just decided to band together, and not with money, but with resources. And then the biggest part of our financing team was speaking to NAB. And then now they are sponsoring this event, and that has made everything just able to be ramped up to the highest that we can possibly get it to go.
Could you tell us what is NAB for folks who are less familiar with that, who we might see the name around, but what is it?
So NAB is the Northeastern Activities Board. It is an organization primarily to help students around the community. They set up tons of events. They set up Senior Sunrise, Senior Sunset. Any big event on campus is kind of held through NAB. So the fact that they were able to support us is absolutely amazing. And I know they have been thinking of doing something like this, a DeStress Fest, but the fact that they decided to help us instead is absolutely phenomenal.
Yeah, that's awesome synergy there, coming
Mhm.
together with the different collaborations. And I think that's so exciting too, that you're building this team with community as well, going into the community, the town, and connecting with businesses. Um, are there other types of collaborations with this, or other kinds of aspects of the plans that maybe you weren't expecting or have learned from in this process?
So, to highlight some of the businesses that are working with us, we have the Dog Father, which is a staple for NSU. If you don't know who they are, it's like um, a unique hot dog where they put tons of toppings on it that's really, really diverse. Like there's a peanut butter and jelly hot dog. There's just everything that you can think of. And then we're also partnering with Indigo, which is a tie-dyeing company. And so they're supplying a lot of tie-dyeing materials, and they'll be coming down and helping us with that. And then we're also working with A Bloom, which is a boutique downtown Tahlequah. And they're donating enough flowers to make a bouquet for 70 people. And so, like, there's so many businesses coming out and supporting all of us. And
Oh,
I'm
that.
sure.
Oh, go ahead. What were you going to say?
I forgot there's also an essential oils person. I have forgotten her name right now, but she is an alumni of NSU. And so she's also helping us out. I'll have to remember that later.
Yeah, that's great that you also are involving alumni, all these connections with the community. What kind of events are planned for the DeStress Fest, and how did you decide on that with your group?
Mhm. So I'll just go down the list first. So there's live music, free swag, tie-dye shirts, and then painting, yoga, essential oils, and then the bouquet station. And so all of the people in a group have kind of just unique experiences, and we wanted to tie everything into this DeStress Fest. We have a lot of people who are active at the Fit, and they used to have a lot of yoga classes, and so we decided to bring yoga in as a good distressifier. And the person that is teaching the course is also an alumni. Unfortunately, I don't remember names very well, so I don't remember her name either. But then we have, I'm sorry, could you repeat the question again?
Oh, I was just saying what kind of events are happening and how did you decide on them? How do you know, these are a part of de-stressing?
Right. Okay. So again, everybody has their own specialties. So we have two people also in the music degree program. And so they decided to bring in live music, and they wanted the university singers to come and play for us. And so they're going to have a select amount of time. There are a lot of just organizations around campus that provide free things. And so I am quite familiar with those. So I went around and started asking people, hey, what can you guys donate possibly for this event? And then a lot of it was just reaching out to people that we kind of knew, the alumni, and seeing if anybody would be willing to do this for us.
Are there certain activities or events that you really hope sticks with students, that they, bring home with them, that they continue, something that they can sustain in terms of helping them to deal with anxieties, for instance?
Yes. So we're actually with the essential oils. That's also like a stress ball making event. And then we also have our tie-dye shirts. We have our logo on it, and so they'll know like DeStress Fest. And then with the unique thing about media studies, with the capstone, once we make a plan for it, it can actually become an annual thing. Prom on a Penny was actually something that the media studies created, and that's something that they've decided to continue doing over the years. And so we're really hoping to make a major impact and help people to continue doing this later on so that people can continuously have this available for them.
That's so exciting. I love that idea, something that this event can be an inaugural
Mhm.
big day. And there's been a lot of conversation about having a wellness day each semester, dedicated to how people can cultivate healthy habits, healthy ways of life, especially on a college campus. And that leads me to my next question is who all is invited? Is this only for students, or in what ways can faculty and staff or other folks in the community get involved or be supportive?
Yes. So right now it is only open to the NSU community. With Blossom Festival, we did want everyone in Telequa to be a part of it, but with NAB, they do have to narrow down their audience to only NSU students, faculty, and staff. But everyone on the NSU campus is available to come, and so I would love to see more faculty there. Something that I've been wanting to do for a while is just talk to faculty and see if they would be able to send their students or something along those lines, just advocate for those areas.
Yes, that's a wonderful idea as well. Is we need to help promote the idea, let our students know. And thanks for bringing that up, that you want to reach out to faculty and be able to share this news with them. In what ways have you started to connect with faculty and staff about this or trying to draw those bridges with students?
So I have talked the idea out with a couple of faculty that I'm really close to. And since I've talked to them already, they have already expressed they are open to being able to do that for us. One teacher so much decided to let her class go on Monday. And so they're able to just come out whenever, since it's not exactly a dead week, but since there's no new material, she wanted them to be able to have that distressing factor before the exam. And she felt like it was um, a priority for her course to do so.
Nice. So as we wrap up here, I am just so amazed and impressed by all this process, especially how this is a part of a coursework, a part of a class. And so kudos to your professor and the folks who also set that up to help initiate these kind of efforts. And of course that you and your fellow students are putting so much effort into this. I mean, it's just incredible that you also have to fundraise and you're balancing everything else in your other classes. How are you navigating these dynamics and seeking to de-stress yourself? How in all this process do you think you're also learning how to balance, as we often hear that term brought up, balancing school life as a student and then these other, their pressures, more or less, a pressure to be a leader, to organize. That can be daunting, right? I know for me as a faculty it is, but what have you done, Gabrielle, or thoughts about this in navigating, that balancing act and excelling in these ways, advancing in your studies and really making a difference with this work? I mean, I really want to commend you on that, but I'd love to hear some of your insights and perspective.
Thank you. So it's a little funny because this entire week has been incredibly stressful as we're going into getting this event to happen. Throughout the semester, we weren't worried about it. Like talking to people was really fun, and just getting the amount of love and support from everybody was distressing in and of itself because the community was really outgoing with all of us. But now I have noticed we're all very stressed, and it's something that we talked about just yesterday, just saying how ironic it was that we're putting this distress test on, and yet we're all like trying to make sure everything goes smoothly and just getting everything into gear. But we have decided to make a plan on hanging out after the event. Since we have tie-dye shirts, we're going to be wearing the white shirt first during the day of the event, and then afterwards we're going to have a tie-dyeing party. And so we're hoping if indigo still has supplies afterwards, that we can just use whatever is left, and then we can just hang out a little bit before cleanup. But overall, the main thing that we've noticed about just our stress in general is because this is a collective effort, we're all able to lift each other up. And so there's a lot of times where if suddenly somebody got busy, we can pick up the other end. And so that communal support is kind of how we lessen the stress for everybody.
That is so great, of really about the community, the networking. I mean, it's more than networking, right? That you're forming this collegiality with your fellow students in this, and it's colleague isn't the right word, but this friendship as well is what it sounds like. My last question for you, or what I'd like us to wrap up with now, is if you have any advice for fellow students, if you have a final call to them of why this matters, why should they come? Why should they get involved in these kind of events? If they're also worried, hey, I'm stressing, I have, this exam coming up or some big project, what would be your call to them of inviting them to this event?
Yes. So there are a couple of things that I would say. One, if you are really, really struggling with stress, I would immediately say go ahead and go to Hawkreach, because they are an amazing resource that I know not everybody uses. But if that's really a true problem that they have, they should definitely go to Hawkreach first. But for DeStress tests in general, whenever I first came to NSU, I had a problem with focusing only on my work, and I didn't give any balancing time for my own mental health. But now that as I am a senior, I realize taking that time is incredibly important. To be able to actually go through all of college and to be successful in it, you have to be able to be balanced. And so taking time to come to this event just for you is incredibly important. Because one, it shows that you're actually putting in the effort for yourself and that you are taking care of yourself. And that kind of goes with anything that has to do with de-stressing too, not just our festival, but Yes, taking that time for yourself is incredibly important.
Thank you for sharing that and for meeting with me, and so that we can share this conversation with our NSU community. It is so insightful, and we truly appreciate our students like you who are really paving a way, starting such wonderful events that can make that impact, remind us of how important our mental health is, our wellness, and to handle that stress, right? Some of the highest indicators of success is how people self-regulate during stress. I heard in during the NSU American Indian Symposium with one of the guests, Dr. Tanema. I don't know if you heard that, but I remember him saying that. And that's what you just said. It reminded me of that. And I appreciate you sharing your perspective and experiences with us. Thank you so much. Wado, as we say in Cherokee, right?
Hoa, hoa,
Wado.
wada. Mhm.
Thank you. All right. Well, we will wrap up now. And thank you all for listening. Have a great day. And I hope you all check out that DeStress event. Oh, one last question here then. Where do folks find out more about the DeStress event if they want to? Gabrielle, are there resources for them? I know I mentioned the Facebook event page, but is there somewhere else they can look for the details?
So we only have a Facebook page at the moment. It's a De-Stress Fest. There's a slash for the between D and stress. But if you want to know more detailed information, you can also email Nicole Wood at wood38@nsuok.edu, and she will be able to answer any questions that anybody might have in person if they don't find enough on the Facebook page.
Thank you. We'll try and spread the word wide around. And thank you all for listening. Bye, everyone. Thank you, Gabrielle, for joining us.